for that recording. I think we are okay to go. One more. Just looking to join us now. It should be fine. Okay. Excellent. Right. Okay. So thank you very much for joining us today. I am just going to spend some time just giving you a bit of an insight. Obviously, our placement opportunities have now gone live. So what we want to do, obviously, with the current, I suppose, climate, we've not been able to get out to as many universities or careers fairs to be able to kind of meet with the students and make them more aware of the opportunities we've got for placements in the coming year. So we've identified this as a kind of real opportunity for people to kind of jump in, as and when they are kind of free, to just find out a bit more about what a placement year at Matalan could look like for yourself, but also what you can get from that and the benefit on there as well. So without further ado, I'm going to kind of jump into the first slide. So just bear with me in a second. There we go. Okay, so just a bit about myself and who we've got on the call today that we'll be talking. So my name's Mark Finch. I am the recruitment manager here at Matalan. I have been with the business just coming up to 8 years. So I joined back in January 2013. During that time, I have been heavily involved in all areas of the business, predominantly head office, but more recently taken on a more kind of recruitment overview of retail and logistics. Throughout that time as well, I've been involved in campaigns for our placement students throughout that time as well, and have been fortunate enough to meet with and work with some great colleagues that have come in and joined these placements and have subsequently come back with us and joined the business following them placements on as well. We've spent loads of time sort of developing the offer, which we'll go into and talk you through throughout this presentation, just to give you a bit more of an insight. And we're really kind of happy with where we've got to and had some great success with our placement students as well. So we will talk you through that as the presentation goes on. Also, I've got with me, I've got Madeline. So Madeline, do you want to kind of give a quick intro to yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Madeline. I'm a placement student, obviously, and I'm on the buying department, and I'm with home. So yeah, I'm at the homeware department. I'm in the bedroom department, which is really good.
Excellent. Yeah. And so you're currently doing a fashion buying and merchandising degree?
Yeah, I'm doing fashion buying and merchandising at my Met.
Excellent.
But homeware is just as good.
Okay. And Niamh, then, would you like to give us a quick introduction?
Yeah, I'm the merch placement, and I'm also on homeware with Maddie. And yeah, I also do fashion buying and merchandising at my Met.
Excellent. No problem. And we'll talk more with Maddie and Niamh shortly, and they can give you a bit more of an overview of the role and answer any questions and things that you may have from there. Okay. Just waiting for these slides to move forward. So first of all, I want to talk to you around Matalan and why we feel Matalan is a great place for you to join for your 12-month placement. So hopefully you all will know. That's why you've kind of joined on the call already. Obviously, Matalan is one of the UK's leading clothing and homeware retailers. So we offer and pride ourselves on offering quality fashion and home products for what we consider to be outstanding value for our customers. Predominantly in out-of-town locations. We have recently kind of delved into the high street, but that is our kind of our model that has worked for us, and something that we will continue and always stay with. As a business, we feel there's a great culture, a really kind of friendly, vibrant company. Our head office is based in Knowsley, with those that knows the area, about sort of 10 miles outside of Liverpool, just off the East Lancs Road that joins sort of Manchester and Liverpool, so really commutable. The reason we kind of highlight culture, I think if you ask anybody within the business why Matalan, or why they work for Matalan, or what they enjoy about working at Matalan, I can guarantee that, from in the top three, they will definitely say the people. There is a real kind of down-to-earth bunch of people that have a real kind of pride for working for the business. A real kind of sense of that we're all in it together. So a real kind of community of let's help each other out and really look to be the best that we can do, which is there and adamant within our values, which again I'll talk through shortly. Okay. Obviously, a successful business. So we opened our first store in Preston back in 1985. So we just celebrated 35 years this year, although quite different celebrations and quite muted celebrations with the current climate. We've now got over 230 stores across the UK. And sort of over 35 international stores now. We've actually updated that over the last couple of weeks as well. So originally started off in the Middle East, but have then since and more recently have some great success in places like Malta, Gibraltar. We've now opened in Egypt. We've now opened in Kosovo. We've also now opened in Seychelles a few weeks ago as well, which was kind of great to get involved in. So although it's slightly different and it's based on a franchise model, it still allows the brand to get out there, and the brand is certainly kind of growing across the globe at the moment. One thing that we do kind of make a point on really kind of touching for our placements is, and some of the positive feedback we get from our students all the time, is a real responsibility. The feedback that we've had from those is that one of the most important things to students joining us, and one of the things they enjoy the most, is that real life experience that we get. These roles aren't sort of additional roles to our business where you kind of come in and shadow. We try to get and look to get our students really involved in all areas of the business as if they were, with us on a permanent contract. So they're kind of real life experience, and they get a trusted and valued team member and get treated so. More often than not, when it comes to returning to university, it comes as a surprise to some of the teams that they are placement students because they're that involved and contribute that much. And that's what we're looking for people to join the business in a placement. We're looking for people that are going to come in and contribute and bring new ideas with them throughout that kind of process as well. Okay. So continuously evolving as well. I think nothing has been highlighted more so within the current climate. We are a forward-thinking and continuously evolving as a business. One of the great things about being a family-run retailer still is that ability to change and evolve and make decisions quickly and learn from decisions. Not be afraid to make mistakes. We look for people to contribute at all different levels, and we're not afraid to implement any new decisions, turn them around quickly. If they work, great. If they don't, we learn fast, and we move on and look about becoming a stronger business. So, prime examples in the current climate of this are where we have really kind of had to change our way of trading throughout COVID, obviously. One example would be that, obviously, as we closed stores during lockdown 1, we increased our e-commerce capacity. And our e-commerce demand obviously grew massively. However, we were still in a position where we were social distancing in our warehouse. So we had fewer people working to allow that social distancing, but then higher demand. So how as a business we had to evolve around that was great in the way that we very quickly operated a fulfill from store model, which was launched out within a matter of weeks to 30 stores, and then subsequently rolled out across the estate, where we were able to maximise our efficiencies to be able to kind of fulfil our customers' e-commerce orders. So things like that, where we as a business we do continuously evolve and do continuously look at things and how we move forward in what is an ever-changing environment. So don't just take our word for it. I suppose our one of the great things that we're really celebrating over the recent times is the success of our placement and what that's done. So not only is it recognised internally, throughout the teams, and the success of the people that have come in there and subsequently joined the business afterwards. But we have now been recognised externally for the great work that we've done and the feedback that's come from students that have been with us previously. So this award, we actually rated within the top 5 for Rate My Placements as an undergraduate employee, which was great achievement in itself. I think what solidified that is that we actually scored number 1 in retail, which again was a massive achievement and was all based on feedback from students that have spent time with us and done a placement with us. So it's not just us that's shouting and raving about how great an experience you'll get with us. It's also the people that are doing that as well, which hopefully you will hear from Maddie and Niamh shortly as well. Sorry, my slides are sticking at the moment, so here we go. So just a bit around us and our timeline then, just to give you a bit of a background information on us and the company that you could potentially be joining. So as I mentioned earlier, so we opened our first store in Preston in 1995, and have really kind of grown more and more from there. So that was our main store and our head office location. Obviously, as a business, and we continue to grow, we moved head office location in 1997 to Skelmersdale, and then have subsequently moved from there back in 2015 to our head office and distribution centre in Knowsley. Some of the key dates on there as well. So I touched on our global expansion. We opened our first overseas store in Jordan in 2019. I also touched on the out-of-town model and how we moved into the high street space as well. We opened our first high street stores in 2015, the first one being on the Cardiff High Street, and then, which is a real statement from the business, opening in 2015 on Oxford Street as well. Since then, we've then gone opening ones in Preston, Bracknell, Leicester, and a few others dotted around the country as well. Our 30th store opened in 2018 internationally. And like I said, we're now at over 35 at the moment. Some of the other key points, and I think is quite kind of key to highlight, because again, feedback that we get from students and people looking at joining us is the charity work that we do. So in 2001, we launched our partnership with the NSPCC. So we are the NSPCC's largest retail contributor. We do a lot of work with them and have done a lot of work over the last 19 years to raise some great funds for them. One of the biggest achievements we got was kind of 6 years after that, where we opened our Hargreaves Centre, which opened in Liverpool, which again deals a lot with the course from the childline element of NSPCC. Other ones that you might well be aware of, and certainly one that we do promote sort of yearly, and we've just going through that campaign now, is our relationship with All the Hay. So again, another local business to us, and another kind of key partnership that we've got with All the Hay and the local hospital. So you will hopefully have seen a lot of the pyjama campaigns that we are more recently doing, which evolved from originally being sort of alphabet scarves, and we did a campaign every year from hats before we moved on to pyjamas, and now pyjamas has settled as being our annual campaign that we run with them, which does create massive fun. So all kind of profits and everything go towards All the Hay and helping support them. So we do a lot with them, from not just from an advertising that kind of campaign and promoting the services they do, but also we kind of open pop-up shops in store within the hospital itself, and we promote the garments and things through there as well. Okay. Another charity piece of work that we do that perhaps isn't as well known is the School of Hope that we launched in 2015. So not only are we kind of supporting charities locally, we do a lot for other areas of the world. So particularly the School of Hope we launched in Bangladesh, which is we kind of sponsor a school out there that allows workers in the factories and a lot of the warehouses where they're kind of creating garments and things, family members to attend school to give them the foundations and the best start in life. And we do a lot of work with that. a lot of monthly communications that come through, where we also do pen letters and things, pen pals and stuff from schools and children that are family members within the business as well. Okay. So again, on the next slide then. So this is the head office. Unfortunately, obviously we can't, we're not in the head office at the moment, or can't see and work around that. Majority of us are working remotely. We do have sort of skeletal teams in there that need to be in head office at the moment. But just to give you an idea of the environment that you would potentially be working in if you were successful with a role at Matalan. So we are based, as I mentioned, in Knowsley, just outside of Liverpool, about 10 miles outside of Liverpool, off the East Lancs Road. Our head office is home to approximately 700 employees, which is across our trading and support functions. So trading is basically anything that's product related to buying, merchandisers, garment tech, designers, functions, and support functions, as they sound, are anything that support the business to be able to run, whether that be IT, finance, HR, property, and the likes from there as well. As I said, easily accessible from the East Lancs and the M58 and 57 motorways. So you tend to be kind of going against traffic wherever we are, because we're far enough outside. So, which is great, and obviously free on-site parking and accessible from public transport as well. There are bus links local to us. The local train station in Kirby, which is about 3 miles away from there, that does have a bus link to the industrial park that we're on as well. Yeah. Because of the out of town side of things, I suppose we are kind of conscious on what we can do and how we kind of bring people together. So what we do and are conscious of is have a lot of ongoing events and opportunities taking place on site all the time. So probably less so at the moment because of the current restrictions. However, we do normally do things like Christmas markets, or we'll have traders coming on site, promote any promotions from local suppliers. Various things like that, where we look to kind of get events, quizzes and things, where we bring the teams together in our conference suite there, to be able to maintain that kind of community that we've got within head office as well. And aside from that, so then we have aside from our normal working spaces, there's some great opportunities to be able to allow our teams to be creative with breakout areas to allow them to get away from the desk and sort of be a bit more creative in their thinking. And also, obviously everything that you need is on site, as you'd expect, with an on-site canteen, discounted coffee, and various kind of health and wellbeing things, initiatives that go on as well, which again I will talk into shortly. Okay. There we go. So one of our key points, I think, is key to kind of mention to you guys as well, is our values. They do underpin everything that we do. It's not necessarily about how we go about doing it, so why we go about doing things, but more about how we go about doing it as well. So our core values, which, if you are deciding to apply and look to get an interview and things, these will come up throughout that interview process. So our core values are: think customer, think family, be real, and be the best. So think customer. If it doesn't add value to our customers, we don't do it. We put our customers first in everything that we do. From a business perspective, obviously that customer at the end point is the most important thing to us, and making sure they get the service and the product that they desire. Also from other functions, we look at internal customers and how we kind of go about improving everything that we do and making sure it adds value from a customer's perspective. Think family. So as I've touched on before, our people make us who we are. We know that together we are stronger, and we're proud to be part of that Matalan family. Very much down the treat everyone how you like to be treated, and every kind of works together to achieve that end goal. Be real. So we treat others how we like to be treated. We're down to earth. We show trust and respect. Again, this is very much that kind of down to earth mentality that we have and that people have throughout the business. And then finally, be the best. We take responsibility for our actions. We learn fast. As I said before, we're not afraid to make decisions and are not afraid to kind of make mistakes, but we learn fast when things could be done better, and we always challenge ourselves to be the best that we can be. So again, another kind of key point that we're big on from a sustainability point of view. There's a lot of key initiatives that we come as a business that we look at. So anything from kind of plastic reduction, so things that we offer bags for life, our hanger recycling schemes. We have a scheme in the warehouses where we kind of bag one garment, miss one garment, so that we've reduced the amount of plastic and things that are being into our packaging. So we look at kind of sustainable raw materials, loads of work and effort from our sourcing team to look at kind of sustainable cottons, so how we look at recycled polyesters and sustainable viscose. A lot around recycling, as I kind of touched on before with the hanger recycling. We do a lot around garments as well. So we donate all our non-saleable and return stock to charity. So last year alone, we donated sort of almost 15,500 mixed bags and cartons that had come from store, and over 184 pallets from the distribution centre, which overall came over 100 tonnes of garment that was diverted from landfill that we've managed to kind of reuse and put back out there as well, so which has been great. And then obviously from a carbon emissions point of view, we are kind of key on always improving that. So we recently launched a new fuel efficient fleet within the business, which had 30% better fuel economy, but also 25% less CO2 emissions coming from there as well. So again, it's something that constitutes a business that we are consciously thinking about the broader environment from the work that we do as well. Okay, so I'll touch on some charity partners, and I'll just kind of run through these as well. So the obviously ones I've kind of touched on there with NSPCC and Alder Hey. The School of Hope is that school that I touched on before earlier in Bangladesh. One of the, I suppose, lesser known charities that we work with is Retail Trust. So we've got a great sort of relationship with Retail Trust, and these are a charity partner that support anybody that works within retail or works within a retail environment, whether that's in store, in a warehouse, a head office, or any kind of role within that as well. And we support Retail Trust to again be able to give our employees the best support that they could have, whether that be from a wellbeing perspective, whether that be from a financial wellbeing perspective, or anybody that needs help or support from any kind of family issues or personal issues or health issues or anything like that, or financial things. They've got a kind of a line where we can kind of get in touch and work with Retail Trust to be able to offer that support on a one-to-one basis, which just normally kind of speeds along a process rather than going through other channels in there as well. They've been a great success with them, and something that we've been working with them for over the last few years, and will continue to do so for many years to come. So touching on all the stuff we've done for charity. So there's obviously kind of plenty of things, and this is just a real kind of snapshot of the last 12 months of some of the things that people have got involved with, and some of the numbers that we've raised. So even on here alone, from some of the photos we've had. So I've been part of an NSPCC London Marathon team, which we do every year. So 30 colleagues go and run the London Marathon to raise money for NSPCC. We have had sort of national Three Peaks walks. We've done sort of triathlons. We've done train pulls, plane pulls. We've broke a world record last year for the longest 5K all joined up run, or the most people to run a 5K to be joined together. So there's always lots of opportunities. Again, is that something that you wanted to get involved in? There's always opportunity to do that with the business. So I'm going to open up to kind of Maddie and Niamh. So have you guys had chance? I suppose it's quite different for you guys at the moment in the fact that a lot of us are working remotely, but have you managed to get involved in any charity stuff since you've been with us? Imagine the Alder Hey campaign.
Yeah, we went to the charity shop, didn't we, Maddie? And we had to sell the Christmas pyjamas. Like, all the placement students went and had to sell them for the day, which was really good.
Yeah, it was good because obviously we're all placement students. Quite, I think there's 8 of us, and And we kind of started, didn't we? Like, we started when all the corona was like getting good. So it was kind of good for us to like socially distance, get to know each other as well. Because I know like in normal situations there'd be loads of stuff organised for us, but it was good to get involved with that too.
Okay, excellent.
It was really good.
Okay. Sorry, my slides. Here we go. So another kind of point we touched on there was around well-being. So as a business, we do very much care about our employees' well-being. There is loads and loads of initiatives that we kind of bring in, and loads of support that we kind of offer that, not just from a retail trust, as I've kind of mentioned there. But also just ways to kind of help us through what is, really fast-paced, what is a challenging environment, but just, in particular, I suppose, what has been highlighted over these times, over COVID, so outside of work and that well-being that is important to us as well. So some of the initiatives that we have kind of launched, we have a Wellbeing Wednesday. So our teams across the business do share. We've got a team that look after wellbeing, and they do share thoughts every week, sort of info, hints, and tips on how to get, how to look after yourself from a wellbeing perspective, and how to make sure that you're giving yourself time. We do wellbeing workshops and webinars. So our L&D team are kind of quite key on delivering some of the workshops, obviously more recently done over webinars, and we make sure that we've got webinars set up so that we're not forgetting all our people that work in stores as well. There's an online wellbeing space as well, where a kind of a place where people can go and look at wellbeing resource and what we've got, and we've got that from our Matalan education sort of learning development site as well. As I touched on there, we've got access to the Retail Trust Wellbeing Hub. We do other initiatives from a healthy living perspective. We've obviously got healthy living menus and stuff within the canteen on there, but we also do fresh fruit for staff. We did do when we were all in the head office, and no doubt we'll pick up again once we get a bit more normality back into that environment, where on a Monday you come in and there'd be fresh fruit for all to kind of help themselves too. We also offer a wellbeing day, so on top of the annual leave entitlement that we all get, there's an additional wellbeing day that we've given all colleagues, where they can take that as an additional day's annual leave to kind of refresh and recharge, and to use however they see fit, and to be able to kind of do that and refresh and charge. And as touched on, there are also healthy options in the canteen as well. So specifically about placement opportunities then. So what I kind of wanted to talk to you was around specifically these roles. So we've got placement opportunities across several areas of our business. So this talk we're looking and focusing around sort of the buying and merchant placement. So it's a 12-month paid placement. The role is working Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, which is fairly standard. But as I touched on before, also, this isn't an additional head to a team where you will just be shadowing someone. You will be involved in that department and will be a key member of the team. Particularly if you're looking at kind of buying a merchant, you're looking at and involved in building those ranges as well that we do look to sell and getting involved with that. So a real kind of hands-on and real responsibility. So to touch on there, the real life role, the role and responsibility. Many of our teams have contributed and have got really, really involved in the ranges and what we do from there as well. And we're looking for people to do and come with fresh ideas. We're not always saying that, okay, the teams have got many years of experience behind them, but we always welcome fresh, fresh pair of eyes looking at that as well. We've got excellent kind of rewards and benefits, I suppose, not just from the fact that it's a paid placement, but there are other, great benefits that come with that, from an opportunity to get involved in a lot of other things, or there is sort of an opportunity to be part of our reward scheme, where you can log in and get discounts across lots of national kind of retailers and environments as well, making the most of our sort of Eden Red rewards scheme from there, as well as kind of great annual leave entitlements and wellbeing days and things like that as well. and also fantastic development opportunities. So what the guys have got and understood from a university perspective, you'll kind of come into Matalan as a business and hopefully put that into practice and grow and get to see what the theory and how that is implemented within the industry. We've also got a really kind of structured 12-month development program for our students that are coming in, that is led by our award-winning L&D team. They pulled that together, which again I will talk through now. So again, I don't just want you to take my word for it. I've been here for 8 years and love working for the business. But what we did want to do is just kind of highlight a few points of what our students are saying about the placement themselves, and these have come from our current students that have come in there as well. So, like I say, from one point on there is being focused around our not just the development but the well-being, work life and personal skills that we'll be able to take back to the final year. The environment that we offer is fast-paced and fun, involved in the charity initiatives that we run. Again, sort of Niamh there is highlighting that everyone that they've met whilst working at Matalan have been nothing but helpful and welcoming. So again, just reiterating that the people perspective, and another good one obviously is highlighting the real responsibility to make a significant difference whilst working within the team as well. Okay. So a bit about the role as a whole then. So guys, I'm gonna pull you in a little bit here as well. So this just gives a bit of an outline of what you'll be involved in from a buying perspective. So Maddie, do you want to just kind of jump in and talk us through what you've been involved in since you've been here?
So obviously I'm on homeware. I'm on bedroom, so since starting I'm involved in basically, as you were saying, you're a complete member of the team. On homeware there's like trainees for each department, and I am a trainee for my department, so you're doing everything that all the trainees do. You're not just like a placement student. So I'm involved in ordering samples from suppliers, managing the critical path, shoot packs, packing for shoots. I got to go on a shoot as well, which was fun. Just like organising sample trackers and like speaking with suppliers and stuff, as well as like seeing the whole range develop and like getting opinions from my buyer and stuff, which is really good.
Excellent. And what we also did then, aside from just getting Maddie to kind of outline some of those points that we're highlighting there, that what you will get involved in, we also cut with the hiring managers or the line managers of our placements as well, to understand what it is that we are looking for in a student as well, and in a student placement. And I think these kind of highlight some key points on when going through an assessment, some of the things that we will be identifying. We're looking for confident people that are able to give their opinion. There is a lot of interaction and working with other areas of the business. Someone who's hardworking, that isn't afraid to get stuck in and roll the sleeves up. There's loads of opportunity to learn, and a lot of the learning is quite often kind of driven by yourselves and what you want to get involved in as well. Really someone who's positive and passionate about the industry and what we do, but certainly it's important as well that someone's agile and able to react to changes, and how to kind of change what we do and move quickly on that as well. So they're all the merchandising. So Niamh, I'm going to drop in with you here as well. So I'll highlight on the screen there a good number of things that you will get involved in. But Niamh, what have you touched on since you've
So I'm on homeware like Maddie as well, obviously for merch. So within homeware, I've got like 7 different departments within there. So it's toys, seasonal, health and beauty, 10 saves of travel, entertainment, and I think I have one more, but I can't remember it. So I'm like basically in charge of all them departments. So like you go in like as a trainee, but there's people who start like get a full proper job with Matalan as a trainee assistant merchandiser. So like it is like you are like proper starting like fresh, like a fully member of the team. My job really is just making sure like all the orders are on track, and making sure like intake management's a big thing, like making sure all the orders are coming in when they should do, making sure they're booked into the DC. So it's like a lot of data maintenance, but yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Excellent. And again, so what we're looking for from a merchandising perspective is, again, a lot of the kind of similar points, but we want someone with some, some real kind of confidence, sort of communication skills, organised, able to work, to the pace that the business operates at. Again, we'd like people that play an active role in the team and are happy to kind of lead and happy to get involved with the team and enjoys the challenge. Obviously, with merchandising, we're looking for someone with some good analytical skills, but more importantly, a willingness to learn and share their findings from there as well. Okay. So, your development then, so should you be successful in securing a role within Matalan? So I've got an award-winning development for all our colleagues, and you will have full access to an interactive onboarding program where we kind of get you up to speed with Matalan and how to work and how we work here. We've got technical behavioural masterclasses that, again, can be driven by yourself and your line managers to what you want to get involved in. So we do have some kind of key ones that we like to our student placements to go on that will enrol you as part of your 12-month plan, but there is an opportunity to get involved in as much or a little as if you want to. We've got full access 365 days a year to our online learning modules. So again, if there was anything that you wanted to jump in to develop yourself, or if there was an area that you'd highlighted yourself that you want to improve on, there's loads of resources online to be able to do that as well. A structured development program over 12 months over that period, what you will get involved in, which I will talk on shortly. And a career path too, so particularly with our trading floors. So, and what we allow our placements to do is get involved in our career paths. So we have structured career paths for our trainee buyers and our trainee assistant merchandisers that they work to. What we've done is we've opened these up to our placement students, although they're only here for us for 12 months, but it still allows you to be able to work towards a goal on how you develop and the responsibility that you take and the skills that you'll learn and develop. Now, what that does is, one, it gives you a clear objectives and clear vision of what you can do, achieve, and how you can take on more and more responsibility as you grow into the role. But also, if you were to look at once you've returned to university and then graduated and come back into us, you've then got that career path at a certain level where you can come in as a trainee level and be higher up that career path than what it would be if you just started on there as well. So it's been a great tool to be able to help people develop and move forward. And then that's not so much relevant to the 12-month placement, but should you look to join us as a graduate further down the line, we also offer additional studies in there as well from degree and master's apprenticeships that a lot of the business are taking us up on at the moment as well. So I've talked a bit about the structured program. So this will hopefully give you an idea of what the guys have been kind of going through this year from a placement program, and what would be a similar structured development plan for yourselves coming in. So what we've looked at doing is bringing you in with a structured induction and onboarding program, really looking to set you up to succeed with your time at Matalan, and giving you loads of information to be able to best place you to be successful within this role. What the placement students this year did, but they got involved in our All the Hay campaign, which comes quite quickly after them starting as well. So as we touched on before, they went and set up a store and helped sell the products and stuff in the pop-up shop within the hospital. And then we've got loads of development opportunities kind of coming up. So these are all kind of sessions where either masterclasses that are predominantly done online now, but we look at getting people involved in Wellbeing at Matalan. Again, making sure you set it up to succeed from that. We look at personal effectiveness masterclasses. We look at situation development assessment, where we run that as part of your team, so you can help understand strengths and weaknesses in there. Drive your own development sort of masterclass, we're again allowing people to really take ownership of their development and the early stages of their career. And then we kind of touch on and go through that situation development, strengths and weaknesses as a secondary session from there. We also do 360 feedback sessions, midway through the course, which allows you to see, how you feel you developed, but also how your peers have seen you develop over that time as well. And then we put people on presenting with impact masterclasses and perfecting a personal brand masterclass as well, which we put on later on in the program, but we think are great additions to have as you are ending your program and going back into university and then subsequently from there starting to think about applying for permanent roles once you've graduated. And then also as well, we've got some catch up. So although our students are working on different teams and different areas, we do, like to kind of keep them in contact. So as a community, obviously they're all going through the same or very similar processes, and it's all new. So we do have sort of quarterly catch-up sessions where we kind of feedback on to make sure everything's going okay, any difficulties or challenges, and then we can kind of look to make sure that we're getting the best from that as well. And then we have a final event, obviously, in August when we can celebrate what the successful placements that the students have been on. So yeah, just to give you an addition to kind of timeline. So our application window is now open. So we've opened that for 4 weeks from the 17th of November. So applications are coming in. So please do get to get those applications in as soon as you can. We don't look at the applications until after the 15th of December. So we'll start screening those applications in December. And from then point, we'll start kind of long listing candidates to take part in our kind of next stage of our assessment. So in this case, and our placement cases, we look to complete some video interviews. So you basically get a link to a video interview, answer some questions from there, and we use that alongside your kind of CVs to be able to just kind of put a bit more of your personality onto your application from there as well. After we've reviewed them, sort of the back end of January and sort of early February, we'll be looking at holding interviews in assessment centres. And then we will look to make offers once all them assessment centres have taken place at the beginning of March. Offers would be made then for people to start in July, August, September time. About July, August time would be the placement start date. So just to give you an overview of the application process and what's expected. So you'll see a lot of us posting on social media on, a lot more information about the role. So please do keep an eye on our social media channels. This will give you loads more information and will help you with your preparation for interviews and assessment centres to come through. You can apply. All our roles are advertised on the Matalan.jobs website. So if you go through there, you'll search 12-month placements and they'll all be listed on there, which is a straightforward upload of your CV and application process as well. After that, as I touched on, we'll do an online video interview. So if we are currently in the same situation, you will do a recorded video interview to shortlist from there. Then if you are successful, we'll hold an assessment centre, which would normally be in head office. However, at the moment, we have evolved that model to be incorporated just online through a Zoom call, where we can still get the same things that we need to from that Zoom call as well. So just a bit on the video interview then. So this is a recorded and can be quite an unusual experience, I suppose, because you're recording yourself answering a question rather than speaking to someone directly. You get a link, some straightforward questions. They are straightforward around more kind of why Matalan, why this role, things like that as well, to be able to kind of relate your experience and skills to the role. What we'll get is, from CVs, the number of applications that we'll get is not always easy to differentiate one CV from another, and the recordings of the video interviews will allow us to be able to just get a bit more of your personality, or you a lot more of your personality over as well. So some kind of key tips of making sure that personality comes across. Make sure you kind of come across as kind of dynamic, enthusiastic. Know your CV as well. So the questions are in there. You'll have a couple of minutes. It's only a couple of minutes to answer each question. Make sure you know your experience, your background, and what you're looking for, and spend a bit of time preparing that from there as well. Like I say, it's quite an unusual environment, but if you do try to relax as much as possible, we're not implementing these stages to make people feel uncomfortable. We want to get the best out of you, so do please try to relax as much as possible and give the best account of yourself that you can from there. Okay. So the presentation or the interview and assessment and what it looks like. So the assessment centre is normally broken down from an interview, a presentation, and a group exercise. So the presentation will be based on a topic usually given a week in advance. It could be something like a SWOT, it could be something around the range, depending on what role you kind of come into. We'll just ask you to kind of prepare that in advance and then present that on the day to the assessors. We have a values-based interview or a competency-based interview as well. So they are situational-based questions. Can you give me an example of a time when you've done X or been involved in Y? What I would say, big tip on this and what people do forget to do is try and remember to relate your experience. So not just that you're experiencing what you've done, but try and relate that to the role as well. So it's demonstrating that you've got a true understanding of what that role is from there. And when thinking about answering or approaching these interview questions, have a look at the STAR approach. It's a real kind of great foundation that allows you to structure your answers that will give the assessors even more information that they need and require from there as well. So for an assessment centre only as well, what we do an icebreaker to ease people in, which we just bring an item that best describes yourself. And then we also do a group exercise online. So again, this will be different depending on the roles you come to. It's usually for buying something product related. But the merchandising one could be maybe a bit more kind of generic. We're not looking for right or wrong answers specifically. We're looking for how people interact as a team, and that's something that again we've if we need to, we've evolved to work on an online capacity as well, which does give a different dynamic to that also. Okay. So just some top tips. So make sure you're well prepared ahead of your assessment centre. Research the role thoroughly. Research the brand. I've given you a lot of information there as well. This will be put on the YouTube channel, but what do we stand for? What are the brand values? Try to be genuine. It's not easy to put on a front for such a long time. So, be yourself. And it's normally those people that themselves and they got that personality across that do stand out from the crowd. Show passion. These roles are really, really competitive. Don't be afraid to kind of show how much you really want the role. It could be if two people have kind of come through for it's one role and it's neck and neck between which one we go for. It could just be that bit where someone's shown a bit more interest or a bit more passion for the role and need and the brand that wanted it that could just outweigh a decision. So yeah, do consider that as well. And have confidence. And again, we know they're quite nerve-wracking experiences, but we do try to make our interviews and assessment centres as down to earth as possible. We're not here to kind of trick you or catch you out in any particular way. What we want to do is really kind of give the best of the best account of yourself. So without further ado, I'm going to kind of hand over to Maddie first, and then we'll go into Niamh. I know we touched on a bit about the role, Maddie. So do you want to just give yourself a bit of an overview? What are you enjoying most, and what made you pick Matalan?
Yeah. So I think I picked Madeline. I had another option actually, not to sound like that, but I picked Madeline just because I like the environment better. Like the everyone in the office just seemed a lot friendlier, and I don't know, it just stood out to me. Like the working environment just seemed a lot happier, and I think it was somewhere that I could see myself working. So that's why I chose Matalan. And since I've started, like the support's just been amazing. Like from obviously my team, and then like I can text and call anyone, but also like if I'm struggling with anything, if I asked anybody, they're always there to help. Which I think at the start, like it is a bit overwhelming getting used to everything, but like it's the best way to learn. So it's good, and it's great because I love that you've got your own responsibility. And like obviously at the moment with everything going on, I'm in the office today, and like buy-ins are obviously more office based, because of samples and stuff. But when I'm in the office by myself, like you've got your own responsibility and know what to do. So I don't know, it's great to be treated like a normal member of staff. Yeah, because you feel like more valued, which is great.
What have you enjoyed the most so far?
Oh God, the light's gone off. One sec, let me turn it on.
That's because we're sustainable and we're energy efficient.
Yeah, it's an energy efficient company. The most so far, I think just like being part of the team and like seeing things that I like work on and like the tasks that I do being used within like the season, like the development of a range. And then like when I organise like shoot samples with the studio, that when you see the pictures coming back, it's nice to see your work like coming into practice. But yeah, I've just said before, I also went on a shoot to Norfolk a few weeks ago, so that was so fun to see like all the products being shot and stuff. That was really good.
And how have you found the transition, or from your learnings and your studies, and bringing that into practice?
I think a lot of it from uni, it does apply. Like you see certain things that you learn, and you think, oh, that's that. But I think a lot of it like is you learn on the job. Like you hear about critical path and stuff, but you never actually work on it in uni. So like working on it, like obviously there's support in there, but working on it makes it all clearer. So you do the job in Matalan and then you think, oh, it makes sense now, like what I was taught in uni. So it's good. So it does kind of go hand in hand, definitely.
And how were you feeling at this point last year? So when you were kind of going out and looking at things and then coming for assessments and so on, how were you? Was it nerves? Have you any tips for the guys on how you got through successfully?
I think we were all like, me and all my friends, we were all just thinking, oh, we're not going to get placements. Like, are we even going to get them? Because you know that a lot of people have like after one job type of thing. But yeah, you've just got to like prepare for the interviews, like make sure you do your research around the company and stuff. But I think like also on the interviews to the assessment centre, just definitely like, get your personality across and things like that. I think that really helps, and like just make sure you look like you want the job. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Great. And Niamh, then, so from your perspective, what are you loving the most?
I same as Maddie. Like I just really love like having a job. Like I like uni, don't get me wrong, but like for me, like I didn't like do like very well on like my assignments. Like I'd pass, but I'd never do well. So it's good like actually to do the job, because I feel like you learn more when you're actually doing the job rather than just sitting in a lecture like and they're telling you about the job they've done in the past. So like you learn more just like actually doing it. And like I don't want to go back to uni next year. I'd rather just work. Yeah.
So many people say that as well, I think as well. But and what about you? Why Matalan for you? What made you choose Matalan, and what made you go down the merchandising route as opposed to buying?
I just knew Madeline had like such a good reputation. Like everyone I've spoke to, like my friend's auntie worked for them and she was a merchandiser, and she just said like it's such a lovely place to work. Like everyone is so welcoming. It's like a proper community. So I think that's like what encouraged me to apply for it. What's the other question you said?
What made you go down the merchandising route as opposed to buying?
Well, it's weird because I always said like, oh, I want to be a buyer. I want to be a buyer. But then obviously when the placements come, I feel like loads of people want to do the buying. So I applied for both, and I got assessment centres for both the buying and the merch, not the homeware buying, it was the kids' wear. But I didn't get it. And yeah, but I didn't expect to get the merch one because like that wasn't the thing I was interested in. But as I said, like my friend's auntie was a merchandiser at Matalan, and she like told me like all the stuff they do, and like she really likes it, and like I actually found out more like what a merchandiser actually like does. So then when I got offered like the placement, like I was actually like really excited for it. But I think in the future, like I would want to try buying as well, but like the jobs are like so like we work so closely together, like it's good to get experience in both anyway.
Yeah. And so that experience in merchandising, if you wanted to go down buying further down the line, do you think that has kind of put you in a good stead because you work so closely with each other anyway?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's good to have like a good understanding of both of the roles. So like if I did go into buying one day, like it would only be like advantageous for me to have done merchandising in the past. So it's just all like good experience, like whatever you do.
And again, from this time 12 months ago, how can you remember how you were feeling when you were kind of looking at all these opportunities and then going through them assessment centres, and any tips for how you were successful?
Yeah, I was just like convinced I weren't going to get one. Like I was just like, oh, I'm not going to get a placement. Like, and it was just like, but then I got the video interview, and I remember like I didn't even do the video interview for this job. And then they emailed me after the deadline. It was like, you can still do it if you want. So I was like, oh, I might as well give it a go. My mum was like, oh, you might as well go on. It's an experience, do it. So then I ended up doing it and getting the assessment centre and then getting the job. So it's a good job I did do it, really. But yeah, I was nervous, but like I'm happy I did it now, obviously.
Excellent. And again, are you taking that, I suppose, from the degree you was a buying and merchandising degree as well? So are you taking a lot of what you've got and just putting it into practice now? Is it a lot of learnings for you from there as well, the theory to practice?
Yeah, it is weird because you just sit in uni and like my lecturers, like they've all done like the buying and merch as jobs in the past, so they're kind of like telling you about the job, but it's like so different actually doing it. Like it's so much better.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So just kind of a few points, like I said, guys, I've touched on a lot of our kind of information does go out through social media. So by all means, kind of jump on and follow us. It will be great and a help for you to look at some of that on your interview prep. But it does give you a real insight as to what life at Matalan is like from a working perspective, and some of the things we get involved in as well. So thank you very much. I notice a couple of questions have come through. I'm going to stop recording now, and then we'll kind of jump on and ask some of these questions. But if anyone else got any more questions, by all means feel free to stick them in the chat box, and we'll get on to answering those. So on the careers website, should I only submit a CV? Is a cover not needed in the application process? Marcelo, no, we don't ask specifically for a cover letter. If there's anything specifically you wanted to highlight, within a cover, try and do it in a profile on the top of your CV or something, or anything like that. But we're not specifically looking for cover letters at this moment in time. Will I be disadvantaged as I'm not doing a fashion-related degree? So, depending on where you are, Kelly, and I think it depends on what roles you look for, and depends on what degree you are doing as well. From a buying perspective, what you need to understand is that you would be up against people doing a fashion-related degree. So that obviously kind of makes it a bit more challenging from there. And buying, we normally kind of look at those that people have done successful have come in doing that fashion-related degree. However, from a merchandising perspective, we are kind of quite open. It's obviously a lot of relevance to a buying and merchandising degree, but actually any kind of analytical type degree could really help with that. So we've got merchandisers in our business that have been doing history, biology, business, finance, loads of different ones. So if you are analytically minded and have got that kind of degree, then certainly that's a route for you to go down as well. So how many people are taken on each year per role? So we have got 8 students at the moment. I think we've gone live with 7 placements this year because we're looking at tweaking one of our roles within finance to potentially look at other options for that. So we currently have 3 buying placements, one on ladies, one on kids, and one on home. We have 1 merchandising placement. We have the rest of the roles then are on kind of e-commerce. Now e-commerce are our current students and current placement students are doing rotating around the department, so they get a different view of different areas than e-commerce. Probably going to be faced around some digital marketing ones. It looks like the digital marketing ones are going to be kind of set in stone for next year as well. So the econ placement looks like it could be econ focused, digital marketing focused, and we actually have the potential. There's conversations ongoing, so that's what we're live with at the moment. It is possible that roles still do come up throughout the year. So again, I suppose it's probably another reason to follow us on social. That we will take this placement and we'll get all these sorted, but obviously as new financial years come into play sort of around February, then quite often departments do consider other options and do consider if a placement student could be well. So in the past couple of years we have gone out a bit later with a new placement opportunity as well. So but all that is normally promoted through our social channels as well. Are there graduate schemes as well as undergraduate schemes? Yes, Grace. So we don't have a graduate scheme as such in the way where we don't say we're recruiting X amount of graduates each year into X amount of roles. What we do is heavily recruit at graduate level all year round, and we do that for all different roles within our business. So what that means for you is the great news is once you've kind of graduated, if you haven't got something sorted in that kind of June, July, August, September time, you're not panicking thinking, oh my god, I'm not going to get anything until the following year and then up against a fresh new intake. It could be any point throughout the year that we would recruit a role on an as and when basis, so when there's a role that needs to be. Again, another benefit of that is because it's not a scheme as such. We don't say, right, you're with us for 1 year or 2 years or whatever, and then all of you are applying for one role at the end, we can start investing that development into you from day one. So you are then a member of our team, and we can support on that, and then you can get involved in that career path, which will allow you to develop and move through from there as well, which would be great. If you're looking at graduate roles on the website, depending on what areas you're looking for, if it's trading floor, they tend to be trainee. So anything that says trainee in the roles, so trainee assistant buyer, trainee assistant merchandiser, for example, then it tends to be any roles that end in assistant. So it could be an e-commerce assistant or a marketing assistant or coordinator. They tend to be roles where we consider graduates, and we recruit heavily at graduate level from. Okay. Just making sure. What sort of work experience do you value the most when recruiting? So we're not specific in what we're looking. If someone's got experience in the field we are recruiting for, it's obviously beneficial because it demonstrates more of an understanding of the role. But actually appreciating, particularly in undergraduate, that people don't necessarily have that experience in that environment, because when would you have the opportunity to do so? The key thing for me isn't necessarily around who you've worked for or what company you've worked for. It's probably how you articulate what experience that has given you. And what I mean by that is, if, for example, you are as a trainee buyer, you work and interact with many different teams. You were interacting across different areas of the business. So if we ask a question around working in a team, and your only example could be, actually, if I was waiting tables in a pub and then we worked as a team, we had to do something, or I was had to work as a team to do a presentation in university. If you relate how you did that and use the STAR technique to be able to answer that question, you will build up more of an answer with that. And then if you can relate that to the role, to say, I did this, and this as a team in this role, it will help me because as a trainee buyer, I will be doing X, Y, and Z, and therefore I've got the transferable skills. Don't rely on the interviewer to transfer them skills over for you. Try and relate your experience to the role, because what it'll also demonstrate is that you've got a good understanding of what the role is and where them experience are transferable between there as well. Okay. Graduate schemes we've touched on. If you have a cover written out, would it be okay to send to you, or would you rather not see one? Happy for you to add it on there. If you wanted to do it, maybe save it as one document in your as your CV, because then it'll all come through as from a recruitment perspective. You will get it through and you will see it all as one, and it could be on there as a front page of that. I would say the best way of getting it noticed and getting it seen and getting it read would be to have it as one document, where maybe the first page was your cover letter and the remaining pages were your CV from there, if you wanted to kind of share that as well. And it could be, we're not asking for them specifically, but actually it is a good, it is also an opportunity for you to kind of highlight anything that isn't on your CV. But most of your information and stuff should be on your CV from there anyway as well. Okay. The placement you recommend being more suited towards a creative student with this month e-commerce placement. Yeah, so from a creative student perspective, then again, it depends specifically on the degree. If it's fashion related degree and it's a kind of creative person as well, then certainly look at the trainee buyer roles. I would also say, yeah, the e-commerce role, apply for the e-commerce roles, because we can tailor them placements to the right person. So if somebody comes in, and what we've done, so in our e-commerce team, if someone's comes in and wanted to do digital marketing, great, we'll put you in the digital marketing area. If someone's come in, and we had a placement last year where the guy was very much a UX designer and just wanted to do a UX designer, so that's all he did for 12 months. The digital marketing girl actually did 3 or 4 months of digital marketing, then moved on to trading team, and then actually ended up in an analytics team, which was completely not what she anticipated doing, but actually gave her the opportunity. By the time she finished her placement, she then decided that she didn't want to do digital marketing, she wanted to do digital analytics. So it actually helped her get a bit more clarity on where her career was heading and what path she wanted to do and where her strengths lied as well. So we're quite open to moving someone around in some of them departments where we can do. It's a bit different with buying and merch, because you're in that role doing it, but certainly from our e-commerce placement, we were able to offer that a bit more kind of fluidity in the placement as well. So certainly from a creative perspective, yeah, I would say apply for the e-commerce roles as well. I'm going to address myself about the cover letter. So I will be involved in reviewing these applications as well. So if it's not me specifically, I will be kind of pulling on the guys as well to help out as well. But make it out to myself, to whom it may concern. We're not going to kind of dock marks off for putting the wrong person's name on there at all. Um, reviewing applications, is there anything particular that would make you turn down a CV? It's a great question, and one we get kind of asked a lot. What spelling mistakes and things like that are not always something that I would consider as recruitment as a whole. But when you look at, if you're bearing in mind within, for these roles, we might have 200 applications. And of them 200 applications, 150 of them could have been doing a buying and merchandising degree at the same uni or one of 2 or 3 universities. How do you differentiate between one or the other is difficult, and why we use the video interview to be able to add to that. So if something in there is not right, or isn't, or it does stand out, like a misspelt something or other, or poor layout, if it's not readable, they're things that might just go, well, actually, we've got a load here, and that makes them stand out a bit more. So I would just make sure, for me, your presentation, just double check it and make sure spelling and everything and formatting is probably the easiest one. So recruiters as a whole have a lot to do and a lot to go through in such a short period of time. So if you make sure it's readable, try not to be kind of storytelling, make sure it's clear and concise on the experience and what you've got and what you're in there as well. Okay. I think that is all the questions that I've got. And I've run over a little bit as well, so sorry guys, and sorry Niamh and Madeline if you've got meetings you need to kind of get to. If there's no more questions, like I say, this will be recorded and will be placed onto our YouTube channel. So if there's nothing else to ask, then I'll just say thank you very much for joining us. And hopefully I look forward to seeing your applications come through for the placement roles with us. Thanks very much.